Hey there, solopreneurs. I'm Natasha Tony. Welcome to NTC TV. As a consultant and strategist, I work one-on-one with women solopreneurs to help them find their fit in this online space. I also help them package and position their expertise or their know-how, their skill set into a framework that transforms the lives of their ideal community. And so today I actually want to talk about why you need to get rid of an influencer mindset and pretty much what that will open up the doors for you to do when you do that. So my story as it relates to having an influencer mindset, and when I say influencer, I mean exactly that, someone that is creating content from the standpoint to get someone to make a particular buying decision, to invest time, energy, money into a particular brand or some type of marketing agenda, rather. And so the internet is filled with it. It is the thing. It is really heavy throughout the internet, influencer marketing, and so it has found its way into various industries, various markets online. And so where you have individuals to entrepreneurs to just businesses altogether, in some way, shape, or form being influenced by the impact that influencer marketing can have on your mission or your bottom line, anything of that sort. But one thing for sure is that I got trapped, and I say I got trapped because I say my mindset was heavy, super heavy on having or adopting this influencer mindset when it came to creating content, when it came to this online marketing space, to the point that I was more dependent on recognizing how I need to show up in a way that would build influence versus actually create some form of transformation, some form of experience for my ideal community. And so at one point, especially early on in my vlogging, I'm just going to title this my solopreneur journey. I felt myself getting to the point where I was tapping into so many different interests. So what started out to be a more educational space that I was creating for Black women, specifically around their natural hair experience, that is my start within this online marketing space, transitioned into me dabbling and dibbling into various things. Oh, now I want to, do lifestyle content, and let's review makeup, lipsticks. Let's also do this. Let's also show people, that and things of that sort. And I was really trying to infuse so much into this educational space that I was creating. I had the niche, I knew the niche, I was operating in the niche, but I felt that I needed to tap into this space of influencer or being an influencer, having this mindset when it came to my content, my marketing, and the way that I was showing up. Not only that, but most of the advice that I was getting online, especially early on, was coming from those who had a background and or was operating in that space. They were pitching out brands and wanting to work with brands, and not saying that as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, you can't do that, but for what your agenda or bottom line is, that will differentiate to the type of brands and the way that you're reaching out to brands and or people or entities to partner with. And so it was really heavy on, on my mind of like, well, this is what I need to do. I need to, create my content this way. I need to focus on the type of content. I need to get my flat lay correct. I need to make sure that I am having a certain aesthetic. Aesthetic was really huge at one point. Have a certain aesthetic, color wise to my feed. I need to, have it this way and do it this way. I need to model what's happening, and I need to ID magazines and editorial spaces that I want to model after. All of that was very influencer talk. And I didn't know it at the time because starting out, I just knew I needed to create content. I just knew I needed to show up. I needed to have my face on, in my content, and I needed to make sure that I was literally visible, if you would say. And so with that, there was a huge misconception that my overall impact in the world was directly tied to the level of influence that I was obtaining in the social spaces that I was operating in. And I think this is a really big thing for many solopreneurs specifically, and or if you are solely just operating, carrying out your God-given mission, trying to take your gifts and talents and transform it into impact for other people through coaching, consulting, being an overall infopreneur, meaning you're obtaining all this knowledge that people can that can serve people. So if you are in that space where you know you understand the impact that you are trying to have, but you can't get beyond the amount of advice online and even in real life as it relates to influencing and growing your impact, understand that a big part of that could be because the misconception is your impact is directly tied to the influence that you have in these online spaces. Thus, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, just individuals that are striving to grow pages, but they have not grown personally so that they can impact other people in a much more deeper level. They are growing pages and trying to increase their engagement in their social media content, but they are not having quality conversations with the ideal people that they need to have. They are trying to grow following counts, and they're trying to get as many likes and as many comments on particular content and posts versus really cultivating the level of relationship they need to cultivate with the person that they're trying to serve or can help or create a transformation or provide a result, right? And so when you are in this space and you're pursuing your God-given mission, you know and understand that you have something to offer, in the form of an impact or transformation. Understand that you have to couple that with the right advice and or guidance that's going to help you carry that out. And so all I'm saying is really just nix the entire influencer advice, because be mindful that it's likely coming from an influencer person. No offense to this person and to their platform, but a lot of the advice that we find online, especially in this online space, comes from a place of influencer, like an influencer mindset, right? This lifestyle blogger type of mindset where, oh, well, create your content like this, focus on this angle, focus on that, get your flat lay done, get this done, make sure that you're recording this, hit start, stop on it. All of these things, these tasks that relates to a lot of people that are solely content creators and influencers. And so you have these hacks and these tips and these tricks on what to do with your content and things of that sort to grow the following and to do all of this, but you don't understand how to package and position your expertise in a way that's going to create transformation for other people. You recognize that you have an expertise, a skill set, and know-how, but instead of you putting that out into the world, you keep getting bombarded by the messaging around what you should put out, how you should be perceived in this online space, so that you can create influence, not understanding and recognizing that when it comes down to it, your influence is not directly tied to the level of impact that you have, or vice versa. Your impact is not necessarily tied down to the level of influence that you have in specific social spaces or these social media spaces, for example. And so, with this permeation of like the influencer mindset, influencer, you just way, a lot of solopreneurs have found themselves really striving to create content in such light versus packaging up their message, packaging up their method, like their framework, and putting it into marketing content that attracts, aligns, and serves their ideal community. And so they get frustrated. They are, burnt out. They constantly keep feeling like they got to keep restarting, or they're doing it all. They're doing all of those hacks. They're doing all those tricks, and they're still not getting closer to where they truly want to be. And One of the reasons is because, one, the advice that's given is likely from an influencer, content creator perspective, but two, you are connecting. If this is you, you are connecting and directly tying your social media influence to the impact that you can have and will have and can have, right? And so with all of that, we had to make the distinction between what influence and impact actually is to even understand where the two really sit at when it comes to carrying out our missions, when it comes to creating transformation, when it comes to creating the result for the people in our ideal communities, right? And so impact and influence, while they may be relatively similar, they are not necessarily the same. In all honesty, your impact needs to come before your influence. Now you might be saying, well, how is that so? Because if people see you, they like you, they know you, they trust you, you grow your impact. Not necessarily. Your impact is not correlated. Your impact may be correlated, but it's not directly tied to the influence that you have in your social media spaces specifically, right? And not even that, even in real life, people may not like you. People may not everyone would like you, not everyone would trust you, but those specific people that do, you have made an impact in their lives or on their lives. That's why I say it might be correlated to your impact might be correlated to your influence, but it's not directly tied to that. Right? When I think of influence, I think of this massive popularity and, this massive following or group of people. But again, you think because you have a couple hundred to 1,000 people or, a couple thousand people following, you think they are all influenced and they're all connected to your message. They're not. They're not. You think they all care about your God-given mission? Unfortunately, they do not. So your influence is nowhere near directly tied to the level of impact that you can and will have online and even in real life. And when you understand that impact comes before influence, you strive not to create content from that influential space. You strive to deliver your message in a way that creates impact. And so when we talk about impact, we talk about something that really is a contact type of thing. Impact, honestly, the general definition of it is one thing coming in contact with another, and there is some type of result, some type of transformation that happens, right? You could think negatively or positively about this, but let's keep it positive. So you talk about an impact. When we say this person impacted me, I met this person met me, whatever the space that we were in, I was shaped by their way of thinking, their being, their doing, whatever that is. I was shaped by that. So thus, I have grown to like, know, trust them, things of that sort. I was shaped by that. I met them, whatever they said, whatever they did, how they made me feel, grew on me. It sparked something within me. And it shaped now the way I think, how I operate, what I do. That is impact in its most literal, layman's terms. It is literally a contact thing. So when we take that impact meaning a contact thing, it can't rely on your social influence. Your likes does not help someone shape their feeling, thinking, or doing. Your content could, definitely, but impact has a lot to do with how you have shaped it, guided, create some form of transformation for a particular person to help them to get them to feel, think, and do things differently. That is impact in its most common layman's terms.